Good morning, students. Today, we are going to start with Unit 3 and we are going to study the first topic of Unit 3, and that is GSM. GSM stands for Global System for Mobile Communication. Okay, you must have heard about this technology. It is quite common. GSM and CDMA technologies were quite common. Okay, so we are not studying CDMA, but we are studying GSM. So what is exactly GSM? Okay, so GSM is a standard that was developed by European Telecommunication Standards Institute. Okay, and it described the protocols for generation, that is your 2G digital cellular networks. So whenever you refer to as 2G networks, 2G networks are nothing but GSM, and GSM stands for Global System for Mobile Communications. And these 2G networks, like are used by mobile devices such as mobile phones and tablets. So GSM was first deployed in Finland in December 1991. So it has for many years, since it is, like I told you, it has been launched in 1991. It has been for many years the number one technology for mobile or wireless networks. Okay, it helped for the very first time in 1991 when it was launched. It helped voice communications to become encoded into digital signals before being transmitted through the network. Okay, but nowadays, we use 3G networks, 4G networks. So nowadays, gradually GSM is being less used, but since it is there in your syllabus, we need to study about GSM. So let me just share the screen and we can continue about GSM. So like I told you, we are studying GSM, which is Global System for Mobile Communications. GSM is a very successful digital mobile system. Okay, it has been used in over 190 countries by over 800 million people. It is a 2G system. Okay, so basically it's a second generation wireless network protocol. Okay, or a standard. Okay, the first generation was basically what is known as ISDN. Okay, which is mentioned here at the bottom of the slide. So it was initially named as Gruppe Speciale Mobile. Okay, the GSM was Gruppe Speciale Mobile, and then the name was changed to Global System for Mobile Communications. Then the 2G system was also made compatible to 3G by a standard known as UMTS. Okay, also known as 3GPP, third generation partnership project. So the primary goal of GSM was to provide a roaming facility in Europe, okay, and also to give voice compatibility with traditional ISDN network. Okay, ISDN, which stands for Integrated Services Digital Network. ISDN was your 1G network. Okay, your first generation digital network, and it was also supposed to be compatible. Your GSM was also supposed to be compatible with PSTN networks. Okay, PSTN is nothing but your landline telephones that we used to have in the past. PSTN stands for Public Switch Telephone Networks. So normally your GSM operates in four different radio frequencies. Okay, but most GSM networks use two bands. The first band is the 900 megahertz band, and the second band is the 1800 megahertz band. Okay, but some countries in the American continent also use the 850 megahertz and the 1900 megahertz bands, because because the 900 and the 1800 megahertz bands have been allocated for some other purpose. Okay, so only for that reason they are using those two different bands, but most other countries or majority of the countries use the two bands that I mentioned on this slide. So in the GSM 900, in that band, the uplink frequency that is used is from 890 to 915 megahertz, and for downlinks the frequency that is used is 935 to 960 megahertz. In the GSM 1800 band, for uplink it uses the frequencies from 710 to 1785 megahertz, and for downlink it uses the frequencies from 1805 to 1880 megahertz. Okay, the GSM 1800 is also known as Digital Cellular System 1800. Okay, in US, instead of 1800 they use the 1900 megahertz band. So in that 1900 megahertz band, they use the frequencies from 1850 to 1910 for megahertz for uplink, and from 1910 to 1990 megahertz frequencies for downlink. And this band is also known as the Personal Communication System 1900 or 1900. So the point to remember is GSM is popularly known as your 2G networks. Okay, it is widely used. It was widely used till a few years back in India also. Okay, so all your 2G phones is to run on your technology known as GSM. Also, another technology was being used, that was CDMA, but we are not studying CDMA in your syllabus. We are studying only GSM, so we will talk only about GSM. Next, let's look at the services that are offered by GSM. So there are mainly three types of services offered by GSM: bearer services, tele services, and supplementary services. Okay, so we'll look at all these services one by one. An important question for exam is explain the services offered by GSM. Then you need to explain all these three services: bearer services, tele services, and supplementary services. So let's look at bearer services. So bearer services provide a capability to the customers to send and receive data from remote computer. Okay, they are also known as internet services or data services. Bearer services also support transmission of data over the public switch telephone network PSTN or integrated switch data network at ISDN at rates ranging from 300 bytes per second to 9600 bytes per second. The bearer services are implemented in the lower three layers of the OSI model. Okay, it also provides the user it helps the user to execute remote applications from the mobile. Okay, and it helps to do both types of data transmission, synchronous as well as asynchronous data transmission. Next, we'll look at the second type of services, that is teleservices. So teleservices provides both voice and non-voice services, and mainly it provides four types of services. Teleservices can be divided into four types: telephony, emergency number, short message services, and fax. Let's look at what are these. So telephony means it provides high quality digital voice transmission. Okay, so it provides a bandwidth of 3.1 kilohertz over the analog phone system. Special codes are used for voice transmission. Okay, and other codes or different codes are used for transmission of analog data and fax data. Then the second service that it is provides is under teleservices emergency number. So an emergency number can be provided for a one single number can be used for an entire area. Normally this area is free, this service is free of cost and is provided by all the service providers. Okay, and this call will be automatically be set up with the or automatically be linked with the closest emergency numbers. So like you can think in India we use these numbers like 100, 101, so those kind of emergency numbers. Then third type of service is the short messaging services. Okay, or short message services. Nothing but in short form it is the SMS. Okay, once upon a time this SMS was very popular. Nowadays we don't use much of SMS. So teleservices, under teleservices, this is the third type of service, SMS, short message services. So it would allow text to be transmitted up to size of 160 characters. Okay, so SMS services would use the signaling channels and would make use of the duplex system for sending and receiving the SMS messages. The fourth type of teleservice is fax. So for sending fax, you would need modems to send the fax data as digital data over the analog telephone network. So it would use some standard known as the ITU-T standard. Okay. So under that the versions were T.4 and T.30 standards. The third type of service provided by GSM was known as supplementary services. So it would, in addition to the bearer services and the tele services, GSM would provide also supplementary services. So additional services such as user identification, call redirection, and forwarding of ongoing calls. Okay. Also, your ISDN had something known as user groups, a multi-party communication. So these also services would be provided by GSM. So this just like how in your calls nowadays you can add multiple users. Okay, when you make some, for example, your WhatsApp calls or your video calls. So those kind of services, that is what they are mentioning here: closed user groups and multi-party communications. So just to summarize, the three types of services provided by GSM are bearer services, tele services, and supplementary services. So I just introduced to you the GSM architecture, but we'll look at it in detail in the next lecture. So a GSM architecture consists of three main subsystems. The first one is the radio subsystem, short form RSS. The second one is the network and switching subsystem, NSS. And the third one is the operation subsystem, or OSS. So basically, we'll be looking at all these subsystems and your architecture in the next lecture. Again, the GSM architecture is an important question from the point of view of your exams. So just to summarize about GSM, what we have studied, GSM was developed and launched in 1991. Okay, so it was mainly known as popularly known as a 2G network. Okay, it is to support the transmission of voice over digital networks, and it mainly operated in two bands. Okay, mainly operated in two bands, like we discussed, 900 megahertz and the 1800 megahertz bands. Some other countries use other two bands because the 900 megahertz, 1800 megahertz were already used for some other purpose. Then these were the services offered by GSM: bearer services, tele services, and supplementary services. Then we looked at the basic architecture of your GSM, and we studied that there are three main subsystems: radio subsystem, network and switching subsystem, and operation subsystem. Thank you for listening, and see you for the next lecture.